Let's talk about No Heart for a Thief by James Lloyd Dulin. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris, and today's video is the No Heart for a Thief, or Malatu, book number 1 by James Lloyd Dulin book review. Before we jump into the review, make sure you're checking that description box down below for links to my social media and Discord, should you want to come along for the ride. Now, jumping into this book, this was a really refreshing debut. I had a great time with it. We're taking some fantasy tropes that have been done before and just having a fresh take on it. This was such an interesting way to share a character's past story. Dulin has written a really solid dark fantasy debut with promise of so much more in the coming installments. This story takes place within two timelines, one in the past and one in the present, with similar military-based danger as the undertone of the plot. As the reader, we follow our main protagonist, Kalo, who craves interaction while also is terrified of the responsibilities that other humans may bring into his life. He has lived in solitude for a number of years and knows how to survive on his own, but he's all too aware of the dangers lurking at every corner with this military group from his past seeping into his present. When the same military group that did plague his past, the Ghost soldiers, return and they look to be hunting a young girl, he knows that he must call upon the spirits to intervene and save her if at all possible. On the other hand of Kalo, we have Tyan. Her life has been shattered. Flames have ripped through her village and her parents are no longer around to save her or keep her safe. She is now hunted and on the run by these same soldiers, and begrudgingly accepts Kalo's help once realizing that he can also dance with the spirits and utilize the magic of this world. Unfortunately for Kalo, it's going to take more than a hot meal to gain her trust. She wants to learn how to fight. There is a mantra playing in her head night after night after night as she dreams of her mother, and that is blood for blood. She wants revenge, and the only way she's going to be able to get it is if Kalo agrees to take her on and train her in the ways of the spirit and sword. But Kalo carries a past, a legend, the hero of Anea, and Tyan needs to know how this recluse of a man came to be. While seeking safety in the present timeline, Kalo starts to unravel his past and tell Tyan his story to help them both throughout this journey. As he uncovers his path, he tells Tyan about how that hero came to be. Past and present match up here in a race against the Ghost soldiers who are getting too close for comfort, and they'll both have to learn to survive together whether they want to or not. That was basically the plot in a nutshell. We have two very similar plots happening over two different timelines, but it was really interesting and well executed in my opinion because it still felt fresh. I am a sucker for a person in the present looking at their past and telling us their story. I really do enjoy that style of narration. I know it's not for everyone, but for me, I thought it was excellent. And then to have that coupled with what's happening in the present and linking those two things up was such a fantastic way to get into this story. No Heart for a Thief felt fresh no matter what tropes were being brought into the story. And I really enjoyed how the timelines complemented each other while also creating tension and forcing our characters to develop along the way. By having both these timelines play out simultaneously, we're also able to learn about Kalo and his past and why he may do the things that he's doing in the present. And it was such an interesting story to unfold in both of these ways. There were a few other things that I really did enjoy within No Heart for a Thief. One of those is the magic system. There are 7 spirits which can be called upon, and the people who can use them are called spirit dancers, and they reach out to the song and they dance with the spirits to call them from the elements. A lot of them were elemental based magics, but they were also people like shadow dancers who could manipulate shadow to give them an advantage when hiding or going on the attack. And I thought this was a really cool magic system to call upon these elements in this way, and it was so beautifully written about that it was poetic in the way that it was spoken about within the prose. Each of the spirits that we came across were intriguing in some way or another, but at the heart of it we have the thief. The thief is a spirit dancer who can call upon and borrow other people's spirits. This element of the story was also multifaceted in that they could take the spirit from crystal shards that were around people's necks, and they would use that to draw magic from, and as that was drawn upon, a thief would be able to take that spirit and manipulate it for themselves. But also people with a natural affiliation to the spirits could start to dance the spirit, and the thief would be able to also harness that and use that for themselves. So this could be anything from fire, water, the seed, which was an earth-based spirit or an earth-based magic, allowing people to manipulate the soil and the earth around them, or the shadow dancers that I mentioned earlier. The thief could also utilize more than one spirit at a time. So they called, some people were twice marked and they could utilize 2 spirits, whereas a spirit thief would be able to use multiple of these spirits at any one time. I thought it was fascinating and I really enjoyed it. And there was a lot of legend surrounding these spirit thieves which came to the forefront of the story. Because of their ability, the thief was deemed as evil. They were deemed to be directly linked to the one true God, who was not an entity that was praised in any way, shape, or form. They were not to be trusted in any circumstances. The legends surrounding the thief were all derogatory to this particular branch of spirit dancer, and looked down upon and feared. Following on from these legends is my next point of praise for the series, and this is the conversations around acceptance and belief and harm that can come from prejudice that is present in someone's life. And it came from all these past stories of the spirit thief in this world. Kalo has an ability that is feared. It is looked down upon and in most cases outright discriminated against. Throughout his life, he's felt like he has had to hide it, particularly when growing up and having lost everything as a young person, and then having to find safety in amongst other groups. Kalo has felt like he's not been able to be himself, and he has to pretend that he has some sort of other affiliation with the spirits to get by and pass as someone who is normal, for lack of a better word. From the past stories, he believes that he is a source of pain and someone to be punished for merely existing. And the way that this was dealt with was quite beautiful, because there was a lot of self-deprecation and a lot of, I don't deserve to be here because all I do is hurt people. I'm just hearing that I am bad through these stories. And then on the other side of that, having someone come in and believe in you, and just how powerful that message can be when someone sits back and says, you're not those stories. You're not what people have thought about you in the past. You're you, and the actions that you take in this lifetime is what matters. It was such a fantastic look at how predispositions that may be passed down from generation to generation can hurt and affect someone for their entire lives, from childhood right through to adulthood, and the sort of mental ailments that come from those sort of belief systems. And then on the other side of that, having just one person come in and believe in you, and how much that can really make a difference to be around someone who says, you know what? I don't believe in all of that negativity that has come from the past. And I just thought it was so well executed and such an important conversation to have. And there were other conversations to be had in this book as well, but that is the one that I took away from it. I had a really great time with No Heart for a Thief, and I'm looking forward to what happens next in this story, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the author does next in their career. Have you read this one? Are you going to pick it up? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like the content, give it one of those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao.